and welcome to Let's Talk with Tinat, Atifa, Massod. Aru ei program tot ami kisuman ব্যতিক্ৰমী ব্যক্তি আপোনালোকৰ সন্মুখলৈ আনিবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰো. Today I have with me an exceptional human being. She's not just exceptional as a human being, she's an expert in her own field of work. And apart from that, I'll tell you one thing. She has knowledge just not on one subject. If you start talking to her about politics, she will tell you a whole lot of things in politics. Though her favorite thing is about cooking and she loves to blog and all that. But then if you're going to talk to her about some place in the world, like geography, then I'm talking about geography, I'm talking about history, any subject, and she's got it at the tip of her fingers, at the tip of her tongue, in fact. And here is one of my favorite women. She is a person who loves to feed people. She will call people to her home and feed them like no tomorrow, and she'll feed them like as if, you know, she's my mom. I always, whenever I go to her place and I go for food at her place, and when she's serving, I always think it's my mom. I think, you know, she serves with so much of love and care. And today I have with me Sanjukta Das, and she is a human being, a woman par excellence. Welcome, Sanjukta.
Thank you so much, Tinat, and I'm really amazed to hear so many good things about me that I never realized I had this in me.
Really?
But thank you for such a wonderful and warm introduction, and it's always a pleasure to be
I think
where
I have
you
lots
are.
more. The viewers must know more about you, you know. It's not just this. It's just not this. You are a person who has a whole universe inside herself, and then, you know, you show us in bits and pieces. Someday you leave us surprised that, and then, you know, you're speaking about a subject maybe on makeup, maybe on beauty, on food, on clothes, on what else?
No, that's why I say I'm a jack of all trades and
A master of everything.
No,
Yes.
I don't think so.
Before you
but
could complete
yeah,
that.
I am a jack of all trades, and I like to be informed. You know, in a world where we are overfed with information, I am a person who likes to be informed. So reading helps, and I think that's what you see in me. And you being such a nice person yourself, you'll always see the beauty. You always see the nicer things in other friends of yours, and I think that makes you a wonderful person, and I think that's where we connect.
Now, I seriously think, viewers, this lady here, Sanjukta, is a super busy bee. She goes around all over the place, doing all kinds of things. She does her house. If you go to see her home, she's kept it meticulously beautiful. And then again, you know, she just now she said that she reads a lot. I'm just wanting to know, when does she have the time? Because she's got two kids also, two beautiful kids, two beautiful sons, and I don't know where she gets the time. So you have to tell us where you get the time.
So we don't get time, we make time, right? So I think, again, that goes back to something that I was instilled in during our growing up years. Ekhon dukhon pat pohi hubi. You know, always
So
read
beautiful.
2 chapters or 2 pages of a book, and that's how you close your day. So I think it has always been there in us, and we have been well fed with all these beautiful attributes that we have in us today, and we see that everything has been connected during our childhood. So this is one spark, I think, that has been connected by our parents and their parents while they were growing up, and it has always remained with us. I try to read, yes, 2-3 pages. That's normally the time that I get. And like you said, I have 2 children at home. So one is a person who takes maximum chunk of our energy. So he's this 5-year-old.
Yes.
5-year-old. So yeah, and then in between that, I always feel that life is how you juggle. You know, it's all about hustling and how well you have hustled your life.
Wow. Okay, since you talked about your childhood, I'm very interested, because this version of the story, you know, we always miss out. Whenever you feed us with all the passion and love and all the care that you give us when we go to your home, we always miss out on how Sanjukta grew up, where she grew up, when was she born, and all those things. That's very interesting. I'm sure the viewers would love to know about Sanjukta, where she was born, where she grew up.
We always get the spark, you know, the smile in our face the moment somebody asks us about our childhood. I mean, I'm sure you have so much to share about your childhood. Like, I know you go berserk talking about your Shillong days, growing up in your lovely home, your mom and your dad. These are some wonderful times, you know. I was born in this place called Dibrugarh, and Dibrugarh swali moi, I was born and brought up in Sabagisa. So I have always lived in tea gardens. My dad is a planter, and we have always traveled from one sabagisa to another sabagisa. Most of our childhood was in a tiny place called Sunari, which is near Hapekhati, and those were the times when terrain was really difficult, bad roads, and there was a lot of political turmoil in Assam, and that is how I grew up,
Okay.
So we grew up in a very protective atmosphere within the house, because outside Bahirot Okoman, there were a lot of alpha problems, and there was this socio-political issues that was going on. So we were kept in our very protective home. আৰু তাতে ডাঙৰ দীঘল হোৱা বাৰী দেখিছিলোঁ খুব, আৰু মোৰ মা খুব আমাক খোৱা বোৱাত অকমান বেছিকে চকু দিছিল, আমি কি খাইছো কি নাই. And then we grew up in a very wonderful time, I think, Tinat. We grew up in a time when there was no access to fast food.
Yes.
There was no access to, over-the-counter buying. We used to buy thinking that, this is something that we need to buy and drive for 2 hours to get that thing.
Wow.
So whatever we bought were very well thought of. Amak lage na nalage ami khub bhalke hetu bostu jukhi makhi ami he bostubur kini anisilu. Aur ajikali jeta dekhu, when times have changed, now we see that kids with 50 rupees in their hands, over the counter buying, frickle buying, lage na lage hetu pasor kotha kini ana to dorkar. And then there's shop every 2 meters we have a shop. We have access to all these things. So I think I consider myself to be very lucky to born in a era where things were difficult.
Yes.
And
but even then you enjoyed yourself so much.
That is how I think we got very close and close to nature, grounded to our roots.
Yes.
And this is what I really want to tell everyone, that it is very important to know where we all come from, and we have to be firm with our roots, and then you grow your branches out as much as you want to.
When you were talking about being grounded and knowing your roots and eating natural food and stuff, I would also like to share the same thing with you, that when I was growing up and I used to travel all the way from Shillong to Guwahati to spend my winter holidays with my dad used to make me mane kur mara bla hikaisile, kur maribole hikaisile, gubor dibole hikaisile matit, gubor khini ako keneke hukuabo lage. So all those things, and then we used to plant alu, jiman beleg dhornor mane sabji asile, so we got that.
I'm sure why we got that time and we never could say no to it is because we lived in an era where there was no PS5.
Yes.
Where there was no
internet.
There was no digital distraction. I call these things distractions,
Exactly.
These are distractions. We get carried away. As human beings, we get carried away. We love being informed all the time.
Yes.
So that is one thing, that is a plus point actually, that we lived in an era where these things were luxury and fantasy at the same time. So that is where you actually got that time to kurmara, gubor hukua, ekhini bostu ami hikilu aru janibo parilu.
And then we did the harvesting as well after everything was done. And then we used to get deotai mane koy je ekhini eta alu khini aji utham dei, aji gajor utham dei, and then hey gute pasi eta loi pele ako ami ki koru, eta tukuri etat gajor, bondha kobi, alu, beleg dhornor sabji bilak loi pele ako neighbors ok dibole jao. Hetu mane amar jetia usor supuriar যেটা মুখৰ যেটা হাঁহিটো দেখা পাও, সেই পাছিটো দেখা পাই প্লে, হেতুৱে মানে এটা বেলেগ ধৰণৰ, সেই কথাখিনি কেতিয়াবা মনত পৰিলে ভাল লাগি যায় যে আকৌ যদি এতিয়া মই আকৌ তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ চব্জি এখন খেতি এখন দেউতাৰ নিচিনাকৈ কৰিব পাৰিলোহেঁতেন. দীঘল খুব ডাঙৰ ধুনীয়া খেতি কৰিছিলে দেই দেউতাই.
So this is what আগতে বোলে মাটিত আমি যদি লাগি থাকো, আঙুলিকেইটা যদি মাটিত লাগে ধৰা, তো scientists say it has a lot of scientific implications. আমি এটো ক্ৰছ মটৰ স্কিল ডেভেলপমেন্ট হয় বুলি কওঁ.
Okay.
Right, আমাৰ ক্ৰছ মটৰ স্কিলছখিনি ডেভেলপ হয়, মাটিখিনি আমি খুচৰি থাকো, পিটিকি থাকো. So our nerves get toned. Aru amar cross motor skills are developed. Now this is what the high end schools are doing it. Lora sori khini mati nuswe, so instead how do they develop their cross motor skills? A play doh dhornor bostubur, play mud, e tenekwa dhornor bostubur introduce korise, jikhini amar ma deuta amak hikaisil ja barit ja kurmar okman gat khand, aru ami hikhini nije hikisilu, like the animal instinct that we say, ami nijo instinctively ekhini bostu intuitively ami hikhini শিকি লৈছিলোঁ
So don't you think during this time, this COVID period is a very fantastic time? I think this is the best time for children to learn, for us to also teach them and learn ourselves.
Absolutely.
এইখিনি সময়তে যদি আমি আমাৰ ল'ৰা ছোৱালীখিনিক আমি যদি তেওঁলোকক মানে কিবা কিবি অলপ শিকাওঁ কেনেকৈ ৰুব লাগে এইটোৰ পৰা কেনেকৈ জাৰ্মিনেশ্যন হয় কি হয় এইবিলাক ভাল হ'ব নহয় জানো
বহুত বস্তু আমি শিকাব পাৰোঁ দ্য বেষ্ট পাৰ্ট ইজ দ্যাট উই ডোণ্ট হেভ আ বাহানা কল আমাৰ লগত আজি সময় নাই এই বস্তুটো আমাৰ টোটেলি আমি মানে এইটো বস্তুক এৰি দিব পাৰিছোঁ আমাৰ লগত ইমান সময় আছে এণ্ড দিছ ইজ আই থিংক বাট দ্য পেণ্ডেমিক দ্য ব্ৰাইটাৰ ছাইড অফ দিছ pandemic is that you have a lot of family time aru ami nijor lora swali khinik ekelege paisu so ami bahut bostu hikabo paru ami jikhini janu hekhini agbohai dibo paru hikaboi na lage diasun jikhini ami already janu hekhini ami agbohai dibo paru bahut manhe koy mur ghor tu bahut horu mur fulor full koribo para nai phak pasoli koribo nor lora swali bure na jane so there is an answer to everything and there is a solution to everything there is a concept called vertical gardening ami nijor grill burot pillars brought I mean nije vertical gardening korbo paro khub besi na lage duta tinta pot at least let your children know how a seed sprouts how it germinates how it comes to a becomes a sapling and then a plant I think ami eta plant losly dedicate kori dibo lage
yes
that you know
that they should take care
this is your responsibility let this plant grow if it grows it's your hard work and if it doesn't then you must have done something which is not correct so then again lora celebrate the sense of responsibility also builds in apart from
super iman dhunia concept eta mane I really like this about you Sanjukta that apart from the food thing you are so involved with children your the way you talk about children and what they need to eat and how they need to behave you are very concerned mane moi hetu kotha dekhisu aru moi aru eta kotha hudibo khoisilu je during this time don't you think that children should be involved in different activities mane beleg dhorna activities ei karone মানে কাৰণ হিহতি এনুকা হিহতৰ they are becoming claustrophobic মানে মই মোৰ নিজৰ লৰাক দেখিছো he is 15 and he was that day he was feeling very sad mom class 8 আৰু 9 মোৰ এনেকৈ গ'ল মই ল্যাপটপটোৰ সন্মুখত বহি প্লে মোৰ টাইমটো গুচি গ'ল মানে ইমান দুখ লাগিছে যে সিহঁতি চিলা এখন উৰাব নাজানে সিহঁতি একো কৰিবলৈ সময় নাই সিহঁতৰ দেখোন একো কৰিবলৈ সময় নাই what do you think about this yeah Sanjukta
but I was talking to somebody the other day almost on the same lines and I was telling this person that a pandemic too so what's the silent sufferers are our children
yes
they're silently suffering they do not have a they don't have an option like I have an option to go out bazar korbo paru option ase mor loga the kids do not have that option they don't even have an option to go to their neighbor's house and play so what's the closest jitu hiator heri hai social interaction
people are scared
is probably
now
the next door
yes
so do I burden my children on the neighbors no I don't want to do that will I be able to accept the neighbors children in my house I don't want to take that risk
yes
so similarly ki hoise ei gutte heritut bacha khini sobotse beshi suffer kori ase but we need to see the brighter side of it I have seen my kids being so resilient and they have taken this absorbed this whole situation in a very in a fashion that I thought that they would not be able to take they have managed and they have their own ways they maneuver their way out they find corners of the house where they can do something build a craft paint something the only thing is that probably when they're maneuvering we need to give them that space
yes
as mom and dad that's the least we can do ami jeta teloke alman ulabo bisare phake di efale pa hefal let's let them have that freedom let them have that freedom so hekhini heti pai ase karone moi bhabu je heti okoman parise koribo nije aru they are very focused they know what they want ami as parents ki korisu moi nije nijor kotha to koisu when I reflect and I see that what I have done is I want my child to be busy because moi lage muk lage ei ghorote ase jetia hi etu course koribo paribo hetu course koribo paribo hetu course koribo paribo in that process I have stuffed that child with lot of work
okay
lot of work there is no in between there's nothing no recreation asil agote amar lorasli khinir je ja adha ghonta TV sa that's your recreation but now the child is doing that only doing is watching TV if he is not on his online classes he's watching television. So
এইটো মোৰ মনত আছে যদি সৰু থাকোতে আমি চুৰ পুলিচ তাৰপিছতে দৌৰা দৌৰি ৰেডি কিবা কিবি কি যে খেলিছিলোঁ নহয় জানো আমি যে কিমান বেলেগ বেলেগ মাৰ্বল খেলিছিলোঁ ক্ৰিকেট খেলিছিলোঁ বেডমিণ্টন এতিয়া সিহঁতৰতো সেইখিনি নাইয়ে মানে
and
they
that is
don't
where
have a group of people to
no and I think
have
that
this
is
activity.
that is where we realize that amar he social etiquette bur build up hoisile আমি যেতিয়া চাৰিজন আৰু বেলেগ বাচ্চাৰ লগত খেলিছিলোঁ আমি তেনেকৈ দেখোঁ যে art of sharing. We have one piece of chocolate, but we need to share it amongst 20 other friends.
Yes.
I mean, that is the art of sharing. And then we found joys in sharing. Right. We found little joy in sharing. Etya nai hetu bostu. Karan it's just one child or two children at home. That's it.
Yes.
Aru, this is all we have. The whole boundary of the house is their bubble. They cannot get out of it because there is a deadly virus waiting to infect us. Aru 2 number kotha hoise that are we as parents ready to take that risk? So if you ask me, no, I'm not ready. I don't see myself telling my elder one even to go out of the campus to go and cycle and mingle with other friends, you know, but that is how it is going to be. But we, as I say that, you know, there's a problem, but we need to look at the brighter side of it. What are we going to do about it? Are we giving them enough courses, different activities? Yes, I'm very pro activities, but I'm very
but you also have to think against it as well,
yes,
because you're not giving them space. But here I'd like to say something that, you know, I feel personally at a personal level, I feel that parents and teachers, they both these two categories of people need mental health training. You know why? Because I have seen that some of the teachers, they get very agitated because they're already carrying a lot of agitation with the virus and their home problems and things like that. So when they come online, they are very vicious and they're very agitated with kids. So automatically ki kore hioti mane bachcha kitake mane খং কৰে বা তুমি এটো কৰা নাই বা তোমাৰ এটো কিয় ইন্টারনেট কিয় বন্ধ হৈ গল এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথা মানে ইন্টারনেটটো বন্ধ হৈ দ্যাটস নট হিজ ফল্ট এটো ইন্টারনেট ডিপ হৈ থাকে কিন্তু মানে কথাটো হল যে আই থিংক দে নিডেড এন্ড দ্য সেকেন্ড থিং ইজ পেৰেন্টস অলসো নিডেড কিয় মই কৈছো recently what happened, I have a neighbor and there's a small kid who has not gone to school etalage school le joy nai bachchato kintu mane I overheard a conversation while I was in the veranda. বাচ্চাটোৱে হয়তো মাকৰ ডিঙিত উলমি গৈছে বা কিবা এটা তেওঁ ফোন কৰি আছিল বা কিবা এটা কৈছে মাকগৰাকী এটা কথা কৈছে মই এইবিলাক বৰ বেয়া পাওঁ দেই তুমি অলপ বাচ্চাৰ নিচিনাকে বিহেভ কৰিব লাগে তেতিয়া মানে মই মানে এইটো মানে শুনি মই কৈছো বাচ্চাটোৱেটো বাচ্চাৰ নিচিনাকে বিহেভ কৰিছে মাকৰ ওচৰলেতো ডিঙিত ধৰি প্লে বা কিবা এটা কৰি তেনেকুৱাইটো কৰিব তেওঁ মানে বাচ্চাটোৱে কৰিব what do you have to say about this? I'm very disturbed about this whole
No, we all get angry, you know? Tinat, we all get angry. We need our time out, right? We all need that zone where we can reboost, recharge ourselves. I mean, hoday ghorte thaku, bacha kini logote thaku, and it's very human. I think we need to accept the fact that amar je khongbur uthi thake, ami frustrate hoi thaku. This is something which is very normal. Second is that we need to normalize mental health and speak about it.
Right.
Ami bhabu jetia mental health or kotha pati diu আমি ভাবো that, you know, we are implying to the fact that you are somewhere less, you know. So I think we need to normalize and stabilize that first. Aru tumi jane ke koisa mental health or training bur, it is not just it's a necessity.
It's a necessity. I think I need it sometimes.
We all need it. We all need it. Like you say that we all need is to, you know, step back aru okoman zone out hoi play ami recharge reboost koru.
Right.
This is nothing but a type of mental, you know, therapy that you're giving to yourself. But is it enough in this situation when the crisis is overloaded? We are overloaded with a lot of, you know, issues. Our professional issues are same, our personal issues are same. We have issues with ourselves and we have issues with people around us. So is it just enough for us to reboost and recharge ourselves by taking 2 steps behind? We need to explore other mental health, you know, there are so much of therapies and techniques, and we need to embrace that. I think we need is everyone seeks professional help. To me, it mar gata beya hol ami Sidhai doctor
right.
We ask them to prescribe us a medication because we don't want that in our life, right? We don't want that cold and cough in our lives. So we want to be like kali bhitorte bhal hoi jao eneko eta bhal dorab diok ami doctor teneke ko okhod eta diok son amar ekdom kali mo bhal hobo lage mor samoy nai. Then if we don't have time for to attend that cold and cough, a common cold and cough, how are we living with the mental health issues? Why are we embracing it? Why are we not seeking help? Like I say, like whenever I have issues, I start seeking help. I think that is you need to knock doors. You need to ask for help, and there's nothing. And teachers, yes, they are the ones who will shape. We
they
give our children
the future.
We give our children to their hands, and we say that they are the best people who will mold our children up. They'll shape them up into future citizens as amazing individuals, as at least independent people, right? And then when teachers suffer from such crisis, which we all do, and teachers are nobody, they don't have a superpower,
superhumans or something. Yes,
we all normal human beings, and they also fall into that category. And sadly, we all have these issues. The only thing is that we need to accept the fact that
we need to address it, and then we need to realize that we have a problem. When it comes to teachers also and parents, because parents usually what to me are moi ki karu, okay, we have a problem, we have an anger issue, so probably we'll sit down, we'll meditate, we'll cool down, calm down, and we'll come back to our children again.
That is just a technique, right? We need is professional help. Alaman jodi guidance pai jao na like we go to a doctor and get medicines prescribed, it's similar. You need to go to a specialist, tell that this is the thing that you're suffering from. You have anxiety issue, you have anger issue. We all suffer that. In some or somebody has it in a lesser degree and somebody has it in a greater degree. We all have these issues. And children are the ones that suffers because of this.
But I would definitely say one thing here, talking to you, and then I hope this message gets across to all teachers. Teachers need to be kind during this period. I think it's very important that, like you said, we give our children to them so that they can be molded for future leaders. Kintu ehini homote jodi kindness to nahe, then there is no point, because I want my son to have beautiful memories with the teachers. Because when he says that, Mom, you know what, this teacher said this to me, then I feel very sad that I don't have memories like that from school. I have beautiful memories. And মোৰ যদিও খং কৰিছিলে মোৰ টিচাৰে খুব মানে মৰমত কৈছিলে কিছুমান কথা যে মানে they want you to be good, they want you to be এটো কাৰণে নহয় যে personally attack কৰিছে বা কিবা এটা এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ নাছিল.
So my mother runs a school in this very small place called Moran.
Okay.
And probably that's her first CBSE school in Moran.
Oh.
And she has this little children, and sometimes I go and visit her school for the sake of seeing these kids, happy, and they are running all over the place. And my mother, that's a very bad thing, but I overheard a conversation. My mother was angry at a teacher, and I could hear her that she was not satisfied with whatever reasoning the teacher was giving my mother. My mother said something that has stuck in my head, and it's going to continue to live, I think, for a longer period of time. She says that if you can't carry extra ounce of kindness, you better be not a teacher.
Wow.
You have to carry that.
Hope all the teachers are listening to this.
Extra ounce of, you are a chosen person, you are a teacher, so you better carry that ounce of kindness.
That's such a wonderful thing to say.
Yeah, so I think I got my lesson also as a mother that, I have this much of kindness, but I need to carry extra ounce of kindness.
And I think, I seriously think that the mother is the first teacher of any child.
Yes.
So if we don't carry that kindness with our kids, like you say, give them the space, give them the freedom to think and sit,
make mistakes, make mistakes, and let them ruin your carpet, let them break that that bright table lamp that you have bought for yourself, probably spending some money. I mean, the other day my younger one had spilt all red color over the white carpet, but that is what keeps coming back.
Thaki golar.
Pandemic ot muk eta ronga rong di thoi gol. So but then they need to learn, and if we don't give them the space, they do not have space outside the world.
Right. So, মই এইখিনিতে ভিউৱাৰ্ছক মই কিছুমান সঞ্জুক্তাৰ কথা মই কৈ থওঁ Sanjukta Datta is a junior ambassador Northeast for India Food Tourism Org, and she's a food writer, blogger, independent restaurant reviewer, and a commercial kitchen consultant based out of Guwahati. All right, and she has been writing about food and documenting recipes. You'll find it in her blog. What's the name of your blog?
It's called Grub Tales by Sanjukta.
Grub Tales by Sanjukta. So if you want to go check on her blog, grubtalesbysanjukta.org.
It's at WordPress. It's
at
wordpress.com.
WordPress.com. Okay, it's in WordPress, so you've got to find this out. She does travel journals, newspapers, and over 10 years she's been doing this. She's very, very passionate about writing. I don't know where she gets the time. She reads, she does her house, she cooks, she feeds us, people like hungry souls like us. And then after that, she says she's been doing this for 10 years. I tell you, she's a superwoman. And she's relentlessly working on reviving lost recipes of this region and home state of Assam. You will find her on numerous social media platforms where she's speaking to people about these recipes which have gone lost. And she is a promoter of the art of slow cooking and an advocate of the slow cooking movement. She has participated in the World Heritage Cuisine Summit 2018 held in Amritsar, Punjab, and being invited by the PCA, that is the Indian Federation of Chefs Association. She represented her state of Assam and demonstrated, I love reading this, you know, because it's so much about her ethnic cuisine along with chefs from other 40 countries. So she was there in Punjab with other 40 countries, and we are so proud of this girl because she represented Assam. And she has also been part of the highly prestigious delegate of 10 chefs at the Northeast Food Show 2019 in Shillong, and she was invited by the government of Meghalaya. And she conducts regular culinary workshops and delivers lectures in various hotel management schools and institutions in Guwahati, and you can see her flooded with appreciation all the time because I am one of her biggest fans. I'm a biggest fan of her food. So now, since I read out this whole huge, no, this is not just it. Whatever I read out is just the tip of the iceberg. If you are going to actually talk with this lady, you are going to find out the kind of knowledge she carries with herself. So we were just talking about children. We are going to go back and talk about children again, and this time it's something important. We talked about food and her exceptional expertise in the food industry. We are now going to talk to you about the kind of food the children need to have. Now I have to tell you this, that I have a best friend whose little child who is in class 3 is suffering from gastritis because this little kid's mother, instead of telling that little kid to have vegetables, is showering the kid, quote unquote, showering the kid with gifts of chips and chocolates.
Right.
Now you have to please analyze this.
That's a very, very common, very common picture in every household. And I'll not say that I was spared from it. I was also, I was
guilty of that.
I was tormented by the same guilt that I had suffered for past couple of months. Like we have this proverb, a very well-known proverb that goes by saying that Rome was not built in a day. Similarly, a culture and a culture of eating will not be built up in a day. So, and I've seen parents, saying that, I got greens today, my child did not eat greens. Just by bringing greens, hakini ami aji anisu aru ami aji amar loraslik khwai play hetok mane ekebare strong immunity dim nohoy. You need is to build up the culture of bringing organic ingredients, bringing local ingredients every day, year after year, before your child realizes that this is good food, this is healthy food. Like in school, ekhan chapter thake, what are healthy food, what are unhealthy food. Tumi mami bacha khinik pohalo, ekhini nakhaba, ekhini khaba, ekhini nakhaba, ekhini khaba. It's not easy as that. It's very, it's a slow process, like the slow cooking, like how we cook biryani.
Okay.
You need to have a lot of patience, you need to have the correct combinations of all the masalas that goes into the dum, and then the flavor oozes out. It's similar to how we cook biryani. You have to mix a lot of ingredients, and the most important ingredients are patience and time. These are the two things I think we need to reflect upon as mom and dad. Are we giving children good good food from time to time, or is it just one day we realize aji eta covid ahise আজি আমি ইমিউনিটি বুস্ট কৰিব লাগিব আমি আজি টেঙা খাবই লাগিব আজি আমি তিতা খাবই লাগিব আৰু কালি আমাৰ লৰাছলি হেলদি হৈ যাব so it's not going to happen overnight so it also had happened with my child who got into the habit of drinking coke
okay
now this child can't do without having coke and he would say that he craves coke and that was a major red light for me that a child of 4 years old is craving to have a drink that he's not supposed to, which is so unhealthy. And for me to replace that Coke with fresh juice took me about 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
But it is.
I remember you were saying about this particular problem. So is that like
sorted now?
Sorted now.
And
oh wow!
Instead of Coke, the juice has been replaced, and I'm much happier.
So did you explain to him that Coke is not a healthy?
You need to do a lot of explaining, and that is where your patience run dry. You know, sometimes you just run dry out of patience, and then you feel like, am I talking against the wall? Because the child is not going to buy any kind of information that you're feeding him, but they're listening.
Okay.
They are listening and you need to keep feeding them this information from time and time again and your friend really needs to understand that showering love is not gifting chips. Showering love is not that bottle of Coca-Cola or chocolates. Showering love is healthy food, what you cook in your kitchen. It could be anything, it could be just boiled potatoes, but it needs to come from your kitchen.
Would you believe this? I mean, the child, because the nana and nani is going to say that vegetables, you need to have vegetables, he eats his food in the bedroom so that he can be away from the nana and nani and he will not be, reprimanded for eating whatever he's eating on his plate.
Bedroom.
So that's a very sad thing that I can see that's coming.
And bedroom is not a place where you eat food.
Yes.
I mean, every room in a house has been geographically demarcated, right? It has implications. Food is not where you take the plate of food to the bedroom. Bedroom means it's a place where you relax, rejuvenate, and you sleep. Your food, you need to sit in a 90-degree angle, and that is only your dining table and your chair can give. So when you're consuming that food at a 90-degree angle, it goes into your digestive system, and you can digest that food properly. I mean, that is where you process your food.
And then the family connection as well.
And it's a family connection.
So he and his mom are eating in the bedroom, and while the rest of the family
here the best thing that the mother can do is stop eating herself. She needs to stop eating herself in the bedroom first.
Right.
She needs to stop taking food to the bedroom herself first. Instead of imposing that on the child, because the child now will not understand. He'll not be able, he's too young to decipher and understand from one action of the mother that aji loke khai asilu muk aji ghopokke mana kori dise. So that child will not understand that. Probably he'll start throwing tantrums and he'll go into a fit of rage. So instead of that, the mother needs to first stop eating or consuming anything inside the bedroom.
Right.
And she needs to keep telling it to the son that this is not where we eat, this is not where we eat. And then eventually,
I think she also needs to practice eating her vegetables, because if she is not eating it, hetu tumi junto kola je ghorat eta culture eta hoboi lagibo je ami eta horur pa mai jitia deobar ahe titia koi je aji ami khar tenga alu pitika bengena ami aji etu ekita kham dei logot masor tenga thakibo lagibo. So that was a kind of an arrangement that we knew, okay, Sunday is coming, mane ami amar ekita thaibo baki khini homot she used to cook whatever, but then on Sunday it was this special
Sundays amar elaborate thake. আমি সব ধৰণৰ বস্তুবোৰ খাওঁ, আমি ইমান বোষ্ট কৰোঁ যে অসমৰ ফ্লেভাৰ্ছবোৰ মামি ফ্লেভাৰ্ছ হয়, আমি ইমান বোষ্ট কৰোঁ that we have a complete package in our thali, but we fail to build up that culture in our home. Why? I have seen so many people talk about Ohomia khana, Ohomia cuisine etu hoy, hetu hoy, hetu hoy, hetu hoy. Moi dekhu pictures bu gahori aru bhate khai ghorot. Where are the rest of the ingredients?
Vegetables black.
Where's your fish? Where's your Brahmaputra fish? Where is your hak
pasuli kot?
We talk about foraging, ami jitu prehistoric manue hahe, but then foraging is what it's returning back. It's a culture that we are embracing again. Why? We are picking up the highly nutrient vegetables jikhini foraging hoy, hekhini ami uthai ani pla ami lora swalik aji khwabo paribo lagisile, kintu ami kora nai kya. We talk about organic, but how many times have we gone to an organic market to buy organic?
Exactly.
How many times have we, have we encouraged an organic farmer by saying that you permanently deliver organic stuff to my home? So until and unless we don't build up that culture, I don't think a child will be able to understand the concept of right eating, and it will be completely, a completely wrong. We'll be on a wrong track if we start saying that ekhini nai kya, but we keep asking our child to imagine ekhini ase aru tumi khua.
So at one point of time, মই ভাবো যে আমি যেনেকৈ এতিয়া খাৰ টেঙা খাই পেলাই ডাঙৰ হ'লো, so we know exactly what is আজি অমিতাৰ খাৰখন কেনেকুৱা হয়, দেখিবলৈ কালাৰ কেনেকুৱা, while I'm telling you this I can see the color, মই যদি আজি শাকখিনি কেনেকুৱা হয় পিছলে এনেকুৱা হ'ব যদি আমি, if we, you and me, people like you and me and the rest of the gang, if we do not kind of preserve this kind of আমাৰ যিটো অসমীয়া কালচাৰে হওক বা ফুডৰ যিটো হেবিট হওক, এইটো যদি নাৰাখো পিছত সিহঁতি ভাবিব খাৰ কি আছিলে, টেঙা কি বস্তু, এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কুৱেশ্যনছ আমাকে সুধিব, and that time it will be too late.
Yes.
মই ভাবো it will be too late.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree to what you have just said, and it's such a dangerous picture. I mean, I get goosebumps the moment I start imagining that our children doesn't know about a food. Ami bhotua, right? We are rice eaters. Primarily rice eaters. We have over 205 varieties of rice to boast about. Keita rice chini pao. Nije keita rice explore korisu. Kiman bid rice khami. Johar uporle jaboke pora nai. Ipina amak already 205 consumable varieties of rice ase amar logot. So we are already so rich in food, in our food eating culture. Everything is in place. Only we need is to just carry that formula and set it in our homes. That's it. Ar jodi ami hetu koribo nwaro, please don't come and complain more child etu na khai, more child hetu na khai. We have not been able to inculcate that culture, and that is a complete fault of us. We take that blame. We need to take that blame.
We need to take that blame, absolutely.
Yes, we have to take that responsibility.
But you'll be very happy to know that my son, who is 15 now, what he does extensive study on what key ingredients kuntu heat ase. Hakot, lai hakot, there's a lot of nitric oxide, which is very, very essential for our body right now. So what he does, he boils it, he just puts in a bit of salt and little bit of ginger and teneke khai he gute mane he lagile gute bowl to khai diye mane he mane he bhal and he knows that there's a lot of thing ar tak jete ma ko je vegetables khabo lage so he has a lot of vegetables now he knows that this is his growing age ar ete adolescence or if he's having a lot of vegetables he's going to grow in height, he's going to grow in all ways his tar new cells jiblak mane tar hobo heblaku tar bahibo so he knows, he's studying about it he thik teneke jodi ami protect to lora salik jodi ami hikabo paru je see this is what is going to be good for you, you're going to grow taller, you're going to go stronger enuka dhonor kotha kisman koi bile
Tinat, I think yes, Tyrus, what I know of him and what I see of him, he's a very he's a research oriented guy. He ki khaise ki nai khoi khinit mane he likes to dig into that. I think that is what comes from his father also, who speaks so much about food, and then he has so much of knowledge about food and what food we need to eat when, and I think that is what is so important. My Koka once told me that you really need to know is what to eat, when to eat, and how to eat, and all the ailments that Mother Nature has given to you will be cured.
Right.
The moment we know what we're eating, when we need to eat, and how to eat it, I think most of our problems solved. We have been able to cater to a culture that is rapidly declining, that we have re-established a culture of eating good food comes into being. Of course, yes, tomar ghorot khuar sorsa choli thake. I think that is also again very important, that we need to keep discussing about food and how food is important and how we need is to go back to our primitive methods of cooking and eating food that is widely available. Start saying no to repackaged food.
Yes.
Start saying no to
kind of
frozen food. Start replacing these food with something more interesting that you can probably recreate. Like I have replaced Coca-Cola with mangoes at the moment because mangoes are in season.
Yes.
So moi he ghorot mango khini crush kori play hetu juice hoy boli diu, because I'm a person who hates processing juice. I would rather cut a fruit and eat it than to put it in a mixer grinder and then hot compress kori play tar vitamins khini hack kori di play moi he pani khini khao. So instead I hand crush it aru hekinik moi seki sieve kori play juice banai play eta juice bottle ote bhorai di diu. So they think that they are taking a lot of juice, And but you know, it's a slow process. Like I said, it's like cooking biryani. It's tedious, it's tough, and then you would want to give up many times, because your child will scream and shout and throw tantrums, throw fit at you, and you will feel like, you know, it's better to just hand him over a piece of chocolate. That is how he's gonna keep quiet. But let them not keep quiet. Let them scream, shout and do, but you need to now reshift the culture into how it was during our Aita Koka times, you know. And
Wow.
one day should be a day where you all sit together and eat what is local.
Lovely. I mean, talking to you, Sanjukta, it's like you open up a storybook, and then, you know, I just go through the pages. I can literally see the pages when you're just reading out this book.
Right, man. I mean, we've gone wrong in so many
And
spaces.
we are to blame for that.
And we have to take that responsibility. But then it doesn't stop there. You need to repair also, right? As mothers, we need to repair also.
Yes.
So I think we need us to just take those steps behind and start the repair work.
Yes.
That is when this generation probably will get a good fix of good healthy eating, and that is when we can probably say that our child has, you know, come back from the era of fast food to a time when they would want healthy cooking food
Yes.
from their kitchens.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sanjukta, for coming in and being a part of this particular show. Let's talk with
Thank you
Tinat
so
Atifa
much.
Massod.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me speak about a subject that is so close to my heart, and I'm very passionate about it. And times are such that we need to discuss and talk and more about these issues, because everything is so interconnected.
Yes.
If we're eating good, our health, our mental health, our physical health is
Happiness,
in place.
especially our happiness.
We are, you know,
dopamine
we are
is
oozing
all-
out our right amount of, you know, we're secreting
Happy
the good
hormones.
hormones. We are happy, and then once we are happy, I think once the female folk are happy, rest of the
family,
family,
remains
the tail is
yes,
stronger and
they
happier.
become stronger
Yeah.
as well. So nice. Thank you so much. And from the Betty Crow family, we'd like to thank you for coming in and always sharing such lovely treasures that you have you have a huge lot of treasure. We need to talk more. I'm
Right.
going to call you back again, because
Thank you so much.
we need to talk more on many issues.
Any time about anytime about food, and yes, we
No,
need
we need
to
to talk about others as well, because
Yes.
I know you're a treasure house of knowledge. So we're going to talk lots. So as you can see, viewers, this lady is just, like I told you, she's just, whatever she's got is just the tip of the iceberg. She's got a lot more, and I promise you, I'm going to get her back again for another show, because she's going to maybe talk about, you know, food in some other parts of the world, and then that's going to be even more exciting. And on that note, I'm going to say bye to all of you. Stay well, stay happy, and stay safe. And I'm going to be back again with one of these episodes of Let's Talk with Tinat Atifa Massod. Thank you.